Alright, gemstones. It's finally time to give my Robert 3D model hair. I actually did this a while ago. I've just been postponing the video, the voice recording, because I don't know what to talk about in this. So now that it's finally happening, I have not scripted this. I have 4 bullet points. So we're just gonna see what happens. Alright, so in terms of the Cassie video, that was amazing. I cannot believe how many views it's gotten, hooray. It would appear that I was at least partially correct about all of my main points. Cassie and Ace were together. I don't know if you would consider Ace proposing, but he did say he wants to spend the rest of his life with Cassie. So I'm gonna say the walking out on the proposal, I got like 25% correct, let's say. It was kind of a proposal. They did leave, but I don't know. The other stuff I said about Cassie, I'm gonna say I got at least, at most, half correct about every point I made. So I call that a win, to be honest. That's a win in my book. And the fact that it's even so has 200 odd views, that's also a win. Thank you everyone who watched it, shared it, liked it, whatever. One quick thing that isn't Cassie related. As the time I'm recording this, the newest episode, the second villain meeting, but Pip was there. So I guess the villain meeting is less you need to be a child of a villain to go, and more you just need to pass the vibe check to attend. I guess that's what we're doing if Pip is there. So Pip has dark magic, they have the Gree bag, and they didn't seem to overly care about Ursuline's contract that censors them trying to say things related to the meeting to people that did not attend. So, 1, they didn't seem to care. 2, called the contract cute, which implies that it didn't affect them or something like that. And finally, Persimmon Pip Squeak is a name Pip gave themselves after getting amnesia. Pip doesn't even remember their original name. If Ursuline's contract abides by Fae rules, which let's just pretend it does, Persimmon Pip Squeak isn't Pip's actual name. So writing that down would do absolutely nothing. So until I'm proven wrong, I'm just going to assume Pip is not affected by the censoring contract. Now back to Cassie. First of all, they got a healing potion, defense potion from Ursuline. I think it started out as a healing, but then Ursuline added a couple other things so it turned into like a defense potion. Or maybe I'm jumbling the thoughts and conversation. Some sort of potion like that. Healing, defense, something like that. Who is Cassie intended it to be for? My first 2 thoughts are Alexander or Penelope, because they're the 2 merrymen that are more or less in the most danger. I don't really know, that's all I got, honestly. And Alexander or Penelope, that's who Cassie is given the potion to. Whenever that happens. Or maybe Cassie doesn't have anyone in mind and just realize it would be a good thing to have on hand. Who knows? We shall see. So, the second thing I thought about with Cassie is when they tried to do the rope prank and Rowan was the victim, and Rowan was kind of traumatized by that. Now, Rowan did end up telling Cassie about how her father died, and I'm kind of hoping that that sort of confession, the way the rope prank ended up going, is what's going to be Cassie. So, like, that's how Cassie is going to finally confess their insecurities and things. The conversation they had with Alexander, like outside of the room where the Destiny book is, Cassie's going to say that sort of stuff to the Merryman, or maybe just start with Rowan, as a way to sort of make up for the rope prank, I suppose? I'm not sure. That's what I'm hoping. I do think Cassie's going to say something about the insecurities and whatnot, and I feel like that would be the perfect excuse. Very ungracefully changing the topic slightly. Cassie knew that Blanc and Stellan were siblings, which, bear in mind, slightly confused that the Merryman in the snow scene, while Alexander was in prison, wasn't in Cassie's POV even though they were in the scene. So if you don't watch AG's POV, you won't know about that conversation. But yeah, Cassie pointed out how identical Blanc and Stellan look, and that they are clearly brother and sister. So now I'm just wondering, because to be honest, when we saw the character designs, I didn't think that for them, but I did think about that for Peter and Penelope. So that got me thinking. I hope Cassie is going to realize the same thing for Peter and Penelope, and that they find some way to point it out to Peter. The vision of Peter realizing the person he's been trying to kill for 20 years is his sister, and then just like laying down somewhere, just slightly depressed. Something about that is so funny to me. Maybe that's mean, but I can just imagine the scene in my head. Please let Cassie reveal that Peter and Penelope are siblings. I just want to see that, honestly. As for that whole scene, so the timeline I'm seeing in my head is the ball, they talk in the snow, and then the next morning, after Alexander is released by Marielle. So he's released by Marielle. I think that night might be the villain meeting. The timeline might be messed up in my head. I'll have to double check. But after the villain meeting, where Cassie said that they would do whatever they can to get Peter to stop trying to kill Penelope, which is hopefully how they discover that Peter and Penelope are siblings. Maybe even Peter thinks about it or something happens when he's trying to pretend to be friends with Penelope? Possibly? But that villain meeting happens, and then in whose perspective was it? The girls' night out. We find out that Fiona found Alexander stabbed, and Rosalina found Robert stabbed. So somebody is seemingly going after the Merryman. Alexander makes sense with his whole shtick, his old problems. Robert, no, everyone who had a problem with Robert has kind of figured it out. Sort of. But you gotta think, it's the Merryman, and both of them got stabbed, unconscious, might not even know who attacked them. I don't know what's going on, I'm just saying, the Merryman gotta watch out, someone's after him. But that's really all I can think of right now. So, we shall see what I'm right about. And until next video, I suppose.